After I took in my niece when my sister went into rehab, our neighbor came over with toys and clothes. I thought she was just being nice. Then I got a visit from CPS. We received a report that you're housing a child without guardianship. It was anonymous. But then my niece said, she told me if I live with her, I'll get a bigger room and a real mom. I checked her phone and found a voicemail. Just say you're scared. It'll be over fast. I never planned on raising a child. I'm 43, divorced, no kids of my own. I live just outside Missoula, Montana, in a small house I bought after my marriage ended. It's peaceful. I keep to myself. I work from home doing bookkeeping for a few local businesses. Then my sister Gina messed up again. Gina's always had problems. Drinking, pills, bad choices in men. I stopped bailing her out years ago, but then last July, she got pulled over, drunk, while driving with her daughter Ava in the back seat. Ava's 7. Sweet kid. Quiet. Too quiet, really? Child Protective Services gave Gina a choice, go to rehab or lose her parental rights. She picked rehab. But there was no one else to take Ava. So I did. I picked Ava up from her mom's apartment the same day Gina got checked into the treatment center. Ava barely said a word. She had a small bag with some clothes, a ratty stuffed raccoon, and a pink hoodie that was too small for her. She looked tired. Not the kind of tired from playing, but from living around chaos. I fixed up the spare bedroom for her. Painted it yellow because she said that was her favorite. I bought her a bed, some shelves, and ordered a few picture books. We got into a little routine, pancakes on Sundays, movie nights with popcorn, walks around the block. I wasn't trying to replace her mom. I just wanted her to feel safe. And she started to smile. Not all the time. But enough. Then my neighbor Debbie showed up. I'd lived next to her for years but barely knew her. She's retired. Used to be a school counselor, I think. Always had the cleanest yard on the block. I'd see her outside trimming her roses every morning at 7 a.m. One day, maybe 2 weeks after Ava came to live with me, Debbie rang my doorbell holding a big plastic bin full of old toys and kids' clothes. I heard you're taking care of a little one now, she said with a sweet smile. Thought these might help. I thanked her. It seemed like a nice gesture. I figured maybe she just liked helping kids. I wish I'd trusted my gut. After that, she started popping by more often. Dropping off cookies. Asking if Ava could come over to see her cats. She'd wave at Ava from the fence and call her over when she was outside playing. I didn't think much of it at first. People in this neighborhood are friendly. But something about Debbie was too much. Too involved. She'd linger too long at the fence. Ask too many questions. Ava started acting strange again. She got quiet. Started asking weird things like, do other people ever become moms if your mom's sick? Or, would I get a bigger room at someone else's house? I'd say, you're fine here. You're safe. No one's taking you anywhere. She'd nod. But she didn't look sure. Then it happened. It was a Thursday morning in October. Cold. The kind of morning where your breath fogs up even inside. I had just made coffee when someone knocked on the door. It was CPS. Again. The woman had a clipboard and a serious face. We received a report that you're housing a child without legal guardianship. I stood there for a second before it even clicked. It was anonymous, she added. I let her in. She looked around, asked to see Ava. Talked to her alone in her room for 10 minutes, then came back down and said they'd follow up. I nodded and smiled. I didn't want to make a scene. But inside I was spinning. Someone was trying to get Ava taken from me. That night, Ava came into my room with tears in her eyes. She told me if I live with her, I'll get a bigger room and a real mom. I sat up. Who? Miss Debbie. She said her house is warmer. She has a pool and a big kitchen. I didn't sleep at all. I stared at the ceiling until the sun came up. Then I got smart. I checked Ava's little flip phone. She only had 3 numbers, mine, her mom's rehab center, and an emergency contact. But she had 3 missed calls from a number I didn't recognize. There was one voicemail. I played it. A woman's voice. Soft. Calm. Just say you're scared. It'll be over fast. I just sat there. My hands were shaking. I felt sick. She was coaching Ava to lie to CPS. I backed the message up to my laptop and saved it in 3 places. Then I called the lawyer I used to do taxes for. She connected me with someone in family law. That same day, we filed for emergency guardianship. I went down to the sheriff's office with everything. The voicemail. The timeline. I made a report. They were polite but careful. There's a line between bad judgment and criminal intent, the officer said. But we'll document this. That wasn't enough for me. So I started watching Debbie. She still walked around the block every morning. Still smiled when she saw me. Still waved at Ava. I started writing everything down. Every time she came by. Every time Ava said something weird. I took photos. I recorded what Ava said after each time she saw her. She said, "You're not my real mom." She said I can call her mommy. She said, "You're going to get in trouble soon." Then one day, Ava brought home a piece of paper she found folded in her backpack. It was typed. "If you are scared, tell the nice lady from CPS. You can live here instead. You deserve better." That was it. I went back to the sheriff's office. This time, they took it seriously. They opened a formal investigation for attempted custodial interference. I gave them everything: letters, voicemails, my notes. I even got 2 other neighbors to talk to the officer. One said she saw Debbie talking to Ava through the fence for 20 minutes at a time. Another said Debbie had asked her son if he wanted to come see her new fish tank. That same week, I went online. I posted everything. No names for Ava, no addresses. But I told the story. The voicemail. The letter. The visits. Everything. It exploded. Hundreds of comments. People were outraged. 2 other moms from our neighborhood messaged me. One said Debbie used to give her daughter candy without asking. Another said she told her kid, "If your mom ever forgets you, I'll always be here." The school counselor history came out. Debbie used to foster kids. But she stopped after a teenage girl accused her of controlling behavior and emotional abuse. Nothing came of it, but the girl was removed. The pattern was there. I kept updating the post. CPS called again. "She filed another complaint," the caseworker said. "But we're closing it. We believe you. We've seen enough." The police called 2 days later. They wanted a formal statement from Ava. We went in together. She was nervous but brave. Debbie got served with a notice to stay away from Ava. No contact. No communication. Nothing. She tried to act like she didn't care. But then the for sale sign went up. Her perfect little house is now overgrown. The flower beds are dead. The driveway's got oil stains. People talk. They say she lost her pension from the school district. Something about conduct unbecoming. She tried to smile at me once in the grocery store parking lot. I just stared. I'm not done. I'll keep pressing charges. I'll keep speaking up. Because she didn't just try to lie. She didn't just call CPS. She tried to take Ava. And I will make sure she regrets that for the rest of her life. After Debbie put the house up for sale, things went quiet for a little while. She didn't try to talk to Ava. She stopped walking the block. I thought maybe she finally backed off. I was wrong. 3 weeks later, I got served. She was suing me. Defamation. Emotional distress. Online harassment. Her lawyer claimed my online posts had ruined her reputation and cost her job. She said none of it was true. That she never tried to take Ava. That I made it all up. My hands were shaking when I read the papers. She wasn't backing down. She was doubling down. The worst part? I had to go to court. Again. I called my lawyer. She said not to panic, but I could hear the worry in her voice. "This is meant to rattle you. She wants you scared. She's trying to flip the story." Well, it worked. I was scared. But I wasn't going to let her win. We started gathering everything. The voicemail. The typed note. Ava's statement to police. The neighbor witnesses. We even pulled the timestamps from Ava's phone to match Debbie's calls. My lawyer said it helped build a pattern. It showed intention. But I still felt like it wasn't enough. I needed something stronger. Something that would prove she had done this before. So I started digging again. I searched every public record I could find. Every name she used. Old news stories. Anything. That's when I found it. A 2007 article from a small paper in Oregon. A story about a foster child placed with a woman named Deborah K. Ellison. Same age. Same birthday. Same face in the background of a photo. The article didn't go into details, but it mentioned the girl being removed for emotional distress. The file was sealed. But I had a name. I found the girl. She was 26 now. Her name was Mariah. She lived in Boise. I messaged her on Facebook, not expecting much. Just told her briefly what was going on. Didn't ask for anything, just said I was looking for answers. She replied the next day. "I believe you." She told me everything. Debbie used to tell her she was special and didn't need friends. That no one would love her like Debbie did. She said Debbie would cry if she tried to leave the house. Would take her phone at night. Would say things like, "If CPS takes you away, they'll put you in a cage." She said she reported it after a school counselor noticed she was afraid to speak in class. CPS pulled her out within 2 days. I asked if she'd be willing to make a statement. She said yes. My lawyer was stunned. If she testifies, it could change everything. It shows a clear pattern. Not just your niece. This woman has a history. Debbie's court date came up fast. She walked in wearing pearls and a pale blue sweater like she was the victim. I didn't look at her. When her lawyer started talking, it was all about her, how much she lost, how hurt she was, how I made her a pariah. Not once did she mention Ava. Not once did she say why she brought toys and clothes over, or why she called Ava's phone late at night. Then it was our turn. My lawyer played the voicemail. You could hear a pin drop. Then she showed the letter Ava found in her backpack. Then she brought in our neighbors. Then, finally, she brought in Mariah. Mariah told the court everything. Debbie stared straight ahead. Didn't blink. Didn't flinch. Just sat there like a wax statue. After court, my lawyer said we had a strong chance of winning. She opened this door by suing you. Now we can show her full pattern of behavior. And that's what I plan to do. Because now this isn't just about Ava. It's about every kid she's tried to manipulate, every parent she's tried to destroy. She messed with the wrong person this time. And I'm not letting go. After the court hearing, I felt lighter. For the first time in months, I wasn't waiting for the next threat, the next knock on the door. Ava started sleeping through the night again. She even smiled when we baked cookies the following weekend. I let myself think maybe this was really over. The defamation case was still open, but my lawyer said Debbie's position had crumbled. With Mariah's testimony in the voicemail, there wasn't much left for her to stand on. She'd pushed this too far, and now she was getting dragged into the light. Then her house sold. I saw the sign flip from for sale to under contract to sold in just over a week. Rumor on the neighborhood Facebook page was that she moved in with a cousin in Wyoming. Someone said they saw her loading up a U-Haul at 5 a.m. and driving off without saying goodbye to anyone. I wanted to believe it. I wanted to breathe again. But about 10 days later, I saw a car I didn't recognize sitting down the street. It was a dark gray sedan with out-of-state plates. I noticed it when I went to take the trash out. It was parked near the old walking trail, right behind the row of trees that lines my property. The next night, it was there again. Just sitting. And the night after that, I woke up around midnight and saw the same car idling outside, directly across from my driveway. No lights on. No one got out. My chest tightened. I wrote down the plate number. The next morning, I filed a report with the sheriff's office. They said they'd look into it. Then I checked my front camera. At 11:52 p.m., the night before, someone had walked up to my porch and stood there for 2 minutes. They didn't knock. They didn't leave a package. They just stood there, face covered by a hoodie, and then walked away. That same day, Ava's school called. Someone had tried to call in pretending to be a family member. They asked if Ava could be picked up early, said they were an aunt. But the office got suspicious and called me. I drove there myself. Ava was safe. But she looked scared again. Miss Debbie used to say stuff like that, she whispered in the car. She told me not to tell. That night, I sat at the kitchen table with my lawyer on speaker and a loaded pistol next to my phone. I live in Montana. We're allowed to protect ourselves. And now I wasn't just angry. I was done being afraid. The sheriff's office called the next morning. The plates matched a rental car from a company out of Billings. The name on the rental? Deborah Ellison. She was back. Despite the court orders. Despite everything. She was here. I upgraded all the locks on my doors. Got motion lights put in around the back. A neighbor helped me install a security system with flood cams. Then I filed for a restraining order. Again. Only this time, I requested it to be permanent. And I told the police, loud and clear, if she steps on my porch again, I'll press every charge I can. I'm done playing defense. But I also started making calls. Because if she's trying to take Ava again, she's not just a problem for me. She's a danger to any child who lives near her. And I found out something else. Something her lawyer probably hoped I'd never see. Her cousin? The one she supposedly moved in with? He has a record. 2 counts of harassment. 1 for stalking. 1 for coercive behavior toward a minor. Dismissed due to lack of evidence. The house she supposedly moved into? Is across the street from an elementary school. This isn't just about me anymore. After I found out Debbie was staying with her cousin near an elementary school, and that he had a shady history, I knew I couldn't stay quiet. I called the school district in that town. I called CPS. I called the police in Billings. I sent every piece of evidence I had, the voicemail, the court transcript, the restraining order, and the camera footage of her standing on my porch. They took it seriously. But even while the authorities started circling, she was still here. Still watching. I started seeing her again. Not close, but just out of reach. In the car behind me in traffic. Sitting 2 rows away in the grocery store. I even caught her standing by the trees near Ava's school one afternoon. That day I snapped. I walked straight up to her. She tried to back away, but I blocked her path. You come near Ava again, and I swear to God, Debbie, I'll bury you in court. I'll make sure your name is on every damn registry. I will drag your whole life into the sun. She smirked. You think you're better than her mother? She said. You think a child belongs with someone like you? I think she doesn't belong with someone like you. She leaned close and whispered. She told me she misses me. I could have hit her. Instead, I called the police. Right there. In front of her. She was gone before they arrived, but it was the last mistake she made. Because what I didn't know at the time was that my lawyer had filed a motion to unseal the Oregon case. She'd used Mariah's testimony and the fresh stalking reports. The court agreed. What came out next blew everything wide open. There wasn't just Mariah. There were 3 other girls. All foster placements. All minors. All removed under suspicious conditions. Emotional abuse. Coercion. One girl was told her mother didn't want her anymore. Debbie had faked a letter and made her read it out loud to herself. Another said Debbie made her call her Mommy, or she'd be locked outside for hours. And one had accused her of touching her. That case had been dropped when the child refused to testify. But the report existed. And now it was public. That was the last nail. My lawyer handed everything to the prosecutor in our county. They issued a warrant. Debbie was arrested in early February. Outside a Dollar General, holding a bag of candy and a notebook full of names and addresses. My name was in it. So was Ava's school. She's being charged with multiple counts of stalking, custodial interference, and child endangerment. Oregon reopened their old files. Montana filed their own charges. And CPS flagged her name nationwide. She'll never be near a child again. Ava still asks about her sometimes. I don't lie. I tell her. Miss Debbie did bad things. She didn't know how to love the right way. And now, people are making sure she can't hurt anyone else. Ava nods. She's stronger now. She sleeps through the night. She laughs more. And me? I wasn't perfect. I should have noticed the signs sooner. I should have been louder, faster, meaner. I waited too long to fight back. I tried to be polite when I should have been ruthless. But I made her pay. I made sure the right people listened. I made sure she couldn't twist her way into anyone else's life. I made sure she'll rot under the weight of her own lies. And I'll never be polite about people like her again. Not now. Not ever.